Yeah, I was able to buy this property free and clear for next to nothing. This is a bank-held house, you know, had been used as a meth lab and the bank didn't want it. The bank didn't want it at all, so they dumped it. Crashed the market. Market was already crashed. 08, 09, crash. Hey, you think everybody woke up 2010, 11, 12 and it was freaking roses and sunshine? No, the market was still in the toilet, crashed. I took advantage of that. I took full advantage of that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I had to. You know, this is, you want bacon, you're gonna kill a hog, okay? That's the way it works in this world. So you want land, you're gonna have to make a move when the time's right. So originally grew up in Homestead in southern Miami. Property value went out of control. Property taxes alone became more burden than we could bear. We sold, we moved north, moved to Stewart. Same situation there to a point, but the property taxes, the impact fees, everything it was going to take to continue to develop the property the way we'd wanted to became cost prohibitive. And we briefly rented just to explore better options. $13,000 a year in rent is a little bit much for a small apartment. I spent a year contemplating what my next move was, and I started doing research on property and low-cost Florida land. I wanted to stay in Florida. Just on accident, I found Flagler Estates. I found out that property out here was really cheap at the time, 10 years ago. And I was in a position at the time, very fortunate position, where I could buy property outright without a mortgage, without a loan, without anything attached to it, which was the big criteria. I didn't want to be trapped in a mortgage situation. I didn't want to buy a $300,000 house and be paying on it for 30 years. So I found a place that was low enough cost and not too far out of a major economic hub where I can find work. You know, big cities are where you find work. And so yeah, Flagler Estates kind of fit the bill, and was able to purchase the property. The property's farmable. You know, we can grow some crops and a few things out here. Internet is cell phone. We do cell phones, very few, very limited. We don't get very great service out here, but I don't really care about that. That's not a focal point of mine. I'm not like an internet-based business or somebody that has to telecommute from the internet. So if I get a few text messages and a couple of calls, I'm good. You know, I don't even own a TV. I mean, it's an idiot box. If I want something to entertain me, I can find much better things just running around my yard or in my electronic shop or my workshop. I would rather devote a couple extra hours out of my day that I see people watch TV. I wasn't really raised in a TV kind of environment, so yeah, no TV. The mainstream media, man, the CNN types and whatnot, man, that's why I don't own a TV right there. That shit'll make you ignorant real quick. You know, social media is pushing us in an interesting direction right now. And one of the things that I've noticed lately, I have friends in many different countries and they share their social media experiences with me. My buddies in some of the Asian countries are sending me really cool videos of scale miniature excavators that they've made on their CNC machines. These are guys in their like teens and 20s, right? 30s, some of them in their 40s. A couple of the older masters that are in their 50s and stuff are starting to put videos out, really teaching stuff. And I see my Latin American brethren down there with their social media, and they got pictures of their cows, pictures of their chickens, pictures of what they're planting, their new tractor, their come up, right? How they're doing better. And one of these idiot kids that I know from out here, he sent me a TikTok the other day, and it fucking shocked me. Because it's just the most retarded thing possible. And I scroll through this kid's TikTok and his Instagram, and I'm like, man, this kid's doing the most stupid shit ever, and all his buddies are doing the same shit, and all the other American kids are doing the same garbage. They're not learning anything. They're actually making themselves stupider by the day with all this social media crap. And I look at my Asian buddies and they're talking about engineering and math problems and they're learning. And I look at my South American brethren, my Brazilian friends, boom de campeonato for the Brazilian brethren. And they're all doing some really good stuff, right? They're all doing something productive and useful and learning and going to college and better farming, and they're badass bull. My one buddy, he's a Brazilian beef farm, badass bull, you know? And I'm like, dude, that's impressive. And I thought, man, social media is probably one of the greatest weapons that Asia has unleashed on us in the last few years. They're allowing everybody to dumb themselves down on social media. Meanwhile, they're sharing engineering knowledge and building knowledge and electronics knowledge, and the whole time they're laughing at us acting stupid and losing our way. Off the grid now, man. I like grid power, okay? I like gasoline engines. I own big gasoline engines. I like banks. I love cities. Cities are great. Get off the grid now. What I didn't want to do is I didn't want to get trapped in the mortgage rat race. I didn't want to get caught up in the condo lifestyle where I'm living in like 1,500 square foot and my whole world revolves around a concrete box. I didn't want to do that. I knew I wanted some land, some property. I want to own a piece of property that I can control what I do. I want to make sure I have trees. I want to make sure my kids have trees. You know, old proverb is, you'll never know wisdom until you plant a tree knowing you'll never sit in its shade. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I want to be able to plant trees for later generations. I want to maintain property for other people to enjoy later. You know, that true wealth is having something that nobody else can buy. Land is really it right now. I mean, other than that, it's Amazon. So, off grid now. I don't want to be off the grid. I want to, I want to stay out of the rat race. I don't want to get caught up in needing to be employed to pay a bill every month or I lose my property. I don't want to get caught up in needing to pay a bill every month or I can't exist. You know what I'm saying? I want to permanence. Having a more permanent location is more than wanting to be off the grid. But hey, you know, the off-gridders are great too, man. I love them. The next 5-10 years is going to be the same shit show, the same process that we've seen in the last 2 years. We've seen unchecked growth and development where they come in to clear cut the entire piece of property and put a house that's overvalued, hyper overvalued, and then they'll shield it under the Ponzi scam of new growth. And they'll try to tell everybody, oh, new growth is good. We're building our community and this, that, and the other. And it's a scam. It's a scheme. It's not sustainable. Every time you see a spurt of growth, right after that, you see a recession or a depression. You see, you know, one side of the roller coaster and then the other side of the roller coaster. So we've seen in the last year or two, a couple hundred homes being built out here. We know that it's going to be a lot more people shopping at our little Family Dollar that can't keep milk and bread in the store already. And we're going to do this for another 5 years? Hold on. Where's our stores at? Where's our schools at? Where's our park at? We've been fighting with our stupid CRA now for a shitter and a storage shed over at our little park. And the county commission has robbed us blind, and this is what I'm being told by the more involved ones, but the county commission's robbed us blind under the guise that they're going to provide us with something and we get federal funding matches through the CRA and other crap. And then it wasn't enough, and inflation and fees and administration and all the rest of that would rob us blind. I mean, hell, you know, out here, we pay 2 taxes out here. You know that, right? You didn't know that. I mean, you live up in the city, you pay your property tax, everything's included. That's not the way it is out here for us. You pay your property tax, and then you pay a fee to Flagler Estates Road and Water. If not, your culvert will back up and you'll flood. Your street won't be drivable. And the trash man will stop coming out because the roads aren't graded. We're on an undeveloped road. So how is that going to affect? No, county's not going to come and put paved roads out here. I don't want them to put paved roads out here. I own from street to street. I don't want them to pave from street to street. I don't need them to. That sand's been there since fucking time. It's not going anywhere. I don't need to pay to have new asphalt laid every 10 years. We'll talk, that's off the grid. You know, that's off the grid mentality. Why do I want to reoccurringly pay for pollution? Asphalt. I'm good how I am. At the same time, I'm a realist. And it will be more crowded, but I wasn't able to buy it all and put it away, so, you know, I've got to let everybody else get their fair stab at it too, so it is what it is. Residential development is what drives the other amenities, okay? You don't build a Publix and hope people show up. You build enough homes for the Publix to be supported first. You build enough homes for the little BuzzMart store to be supported, okay? If Buzz didn't have a market for beer, lotto tickets, and smokes, he wouldn't have gone into business. If Family Dollar didn't have a market for redneck snacky cakes and hot dogs and cheap Chinese paraphernalia, they wouldn't have built the store out there. So focusing on what residents are going to be needing versus the amenities, yeah, you can't put the mule in front of the cart, you know, you got to have it lined up the right way there. So there's a couple developers have gotten together out here. We got Old City Homes and a couple other ones, and these guys are just dumping good money on bad and making the property value shoot up astronomically from what we used to pay, which is fine. Hey, property value increase, it's a free country, market capitalist society, whatever the fuck. That's great, but they're basically hyperinflating this area by bringing in all these extra expensive homes that are just super hyperinflated. And impact fees, $14,000, right? To build a home. You don't just buy the land to get a permit to build a house and build a house. $14,000 up front. You got to pay these county commissioners off so they'll let you build on your property. They'll let you have your basic needs. Impact fees. I haven't made any impact here. I don't do any impact here. I don't call the cops, I don't call the fire department. I barely get trash service. I'm paying for my road to be maintained on my own. FERWC, it's almost as much as the taxes just to keep a road maintained. Hey, and God bless them, they do a great job. Worth every penny. It's who maintains our roads and basically makes it so we can get trash service out here, which is hit and miss.